InterFed Radio. You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip. What day is it again today? Who knows. Whatever day you're listening, when you're listening, just glad to have you. This is going to be our Jade review. Last time I went a little long. I wanted to get into bronze and Jade, but hey, a lot going on in the bronze right now. And a lot going on in the Jade, so let's get right to it. If we're talking Jade, we're talking DXL. The DXL is an IWA credit league. The DXL does not allow transfers unless you're coming from the rookie league. I want to go ahead and touch on that for a quick minute. Again, there's a lot of styles, a lot of different ways to play this game. When you are graduating after your 17 cycles there in the New Wave League, something to consider if you are going to play this game at large and try and go for that IWA championship every cycle, is you want to position your fighter in the top 5 if possible. And again, there's a lot of at-large leagues where you can, if you're coming from the rookie league after 17 cycles, you probably have a nice padded record. And if you go to one of these at-large leagues, activity's low, but you're going to be in the top 5, and you're going to be having, an opportunity or a shot at that league championship every cycle. Again, there's a lot of different styles, different ways to play this game. That's one of them. A lot of people want a shot at that title every cycle or every week. So, they try and position as many of their fighters in the top 4. As mentioned, the DXL does not allow transfers unless you're coming from the NWL. And again, this is a credit league. So if you are a rookie, take a look at the DXL roster. You could probably climb the top, pretty quickly, especially if you're coming with a padded record already. So just something to consider. It's also a limit league, so it's limited to 6 fighters. That's another thing to consider. And there's a lot of action going on there. Commissioner Frank Belcher III has his report, and he has tons of rewards and tons of free matches to give away. One of the things that caught my attention was the best of the best series that they have there. One of their series just finished up. Jeff Chambers defeated Mitchell Johnson, aka Super Balls, in their series. Currently, David Truesdale is in the lead. He's going against Jeff Chambers at the moment. And they pretty much, they track, singles, tag, and 6-man, for each manager. And, they pretty much go head-to-head until we have a winner. Other than that, there in the DXL, we've also started a show. Infection. Our current champion there is Super Bowls. He defeated Dopey, the Psycho Clown, last cycle. Again, Super Balls has made a name for himself here in our InterFed through the Infection show and through our Rivalries. He was our RWL, DXL rivalry champ for quite some time. He was just defeated last cycle by Morena Loquita with a little help from King Flip and the cheating ref. But other than that, let's see here. Looks like Edgewalker and Nightwalker won the tag team championship there. They defeated Virus, FB3's Proctology, and Dr. FB. So, and they also took the 6-man championship from them as well. So, LTD's Death's Hand and Edge and Nightwalker are now the 6-man champions there. As mentioned, Morena Loquita is our new RWL DXL champion. I believe this last one just finished. We had some interactions with the Hood family. The Hood family there has, pretty much come and has set the tone there in the DXL. They're looking to, change it up. They brought their Raise the Bar challenge. Each member there is challenging you to beat them. At the first level, you just got to beat them by 1 point. Second level, as you guessed it, beat them by 2 points. And the third level there, if you defeat, let's see who it is. I forget who it is. I think it's Jimmy Hood by 3. The third cycle there, you get 5 free matches. So take a look at that Hood family challenge there. A couple fighters are already at level 1. I believe Hardcore Harrison and Jeff Chambers in a dress has already gotten to level 1. See if they can get to 2 and 3 in these next couple of cycles. As mentioned last time, Grady White has started his Respect a Mass tour there. He's challenging Drake Danger there in the DXL. So see how that goes this upcoming cycle. Also got some new faces. Mikey Shades and Pork Chop have made their way to the DXL. Both of them are looking to hit the front page early and quick, and see if maybe they can get involved with this Best of the Best tournament that they have here in the DXL. So should be interesting to see all the new action, all the new interaction with the DXL. Again, if we're talking DXL, we're talking Virus. That's one of their leagues there. And in our InterFed, that's pretty much, that's the home of the Virus. And, for our IWA InterFed, over in the QPL, it looks like IMT has made that their home there. So it should be fun to see these at-large stables, compete through the InterFed. Like I said, a lot of different styles, a lot of different ways to play this game. So, we're just wrapping our 2 cents around it, giving you our side of our angle, our view, and see if you like it. See if you want to take part in the action. Let's go ahead and let's stay with the Jade. Now let's talk Lone Wolf League. Now the Lone Wolf League is another one of those very intimate, very close combat action. Each manager has one wrestler exclusively. So if you're one of these guys that say, you know what, I don't like, you having 50 fighters and I only got 3 and, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. There's a lot of different ways to play this game. Find your style, find your way, play your way. The Lone Wolf League is perfect. If you don't like flooding, we've already mentioned the Generation Next League. We already mentioned the Living Nightmares League. We already mentioned the United Nations League. This one, it's, is as intimate as you're going to get. One fighter per manager. Done. Again, it's there's a lot of different ways to play it. So play it. You're going to find the at-large players there as well. They don't, they want to play, they want to trash talk. This is one of those leagues that, Commissioner John Voss does a fantastic job there. He interacts. He gets his managers to send him all the stuff, and very similar to how we do, where they interact online, interact in the Facebook, and using their groups, they do like we do. They drive trash talk, and they go back and forth. So again, another league to consider there in the Jade. What we've done is, with the help of Peter Houston and the ASL, is we're doing the Guerra de Campeones there. The Guerra de Campeones has been extended to 9 fighters for each league. And so that should be fun. A lot of interaction has already started on our groups. And you can definitely expect more to come. And as expected, it also opened the doors to new interactions with managers and new interactions with different fighters. Buford Blackwood there in the Lone Wolf League has, pretty much, thrown the first snowball and gotten everything going. So what we're going to do there, and that's, I believe it's Christopher Stevens. We're going to go ahead and have some InterFed action there with him and the Lone Wolf League. We've already ran it by Commissioner John Voss, so look for that in the next couple of days. Over with the ASL, we're going to start some more series. Robert Harper has accepted the challenge, and we're starting a nice slow building, slow brewing feud with his fighter, Chris Hero. So look for that in the ASL. And these are all extensions from the Guerra de Campeones. And like I said, the Jade has opened up all these, the Jade Lone Wolf League has opened up all these different avenues and different angles that we're building around the InterFed. So a lot going on. Definitely a good time to be in the IWA. I want to get into our rivalries now. Last time we were, cut a little bit for time, so I wanted to make sure I'd, got those managers their credit, kind of go over what goes on there with those rivalries. The first rivalry that we started, of course, was with the MML and the XWL. The first two were won by Donald Henry's Iron Horse. He pretty much dominated, back to back, just hit, I think, 498s back to back, amazing, so. And as I say that 498, I want to go ahead and talk my viewpoint on using the numbers. Now, if you hear someone say they got a 498 and you're new to the game, you might be like, okay, so why do I care? A lot of managers that do play the at-large game like using the numbers in their, interactions and in their trash talk. I like to think of the IWA total hold number similar to the BCS, just pretty much like a power system, like a power scale. So if this cycle your fighter got a 501, then, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? That you got a pretty high power rating in the, in the BCS or in the IWA system or whatever. That's kind of the way I refer to it. So I don't mind it if you want to mention, I know manager's infamous for it. He likes to mention his PPFs. If you get a PPF, awesome. To me, that means, the rankings and everybody, you had that cycle, you were on fire. Every stadium you went to, you sold out. Every match you went to, you put on a fantastic show. So, open your mind. Change the game a little bit. It's okay to talk about numbers. Just use it. I don't mind. I don't care. But that's the way I think about the numbers. When I see that, I don't, I'll go right back to it. I mention the numbers, I think, once or twice if I can remember back. But anywho, on to our rivalries. And like I said, Donald Henry hit those 498s, and he was dominating there. And then Salvador Bain won the next one there in the MML XWL. And that rivalry match was, insane. Everybody was going all over the place. Everybody, you got to check out these, when we put up a rivalry post or a thread, that's the time to get involved. And some people are looking at these threads as like, oh man, my fighter's not even there, or I don't want to interact. Why why should I even tune in, or why should I even say anything if my fighter isn't on the list or isn't on the thing? And to be honest, that's where you gotta open your eyes to your possibilities that, or just think back to wrestling, think back to what you've seen. How many times did you see somebody come from the stands, or how many times did you see somebody come from under the ring, or somebody come from backstage? I mean, it happened all the time. Use it. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And don't be afraid to come in and talk a little smack. Our interviews have boiled over to our rivalries, and we've had interactions now that are stemming through every single federation. Another one of our rivalries, the RWL HRL one, has led to probably the most interesting interactions right now, because they're so far out of the box that they have to be responded to. Hamilton, just shot off, this hostess nipple. And if you're following along, there in the HRL, the interview, girls got stiffed and someone didn't show up for an interview. And the following cycle, the person that didn't show up for the interview was, beaten up and, pretty much manhandled by the Devil Dogs in an electric steel cage. So you can imagine what's in store for Deadshot, who just shot one of their nipples off. Yeah, it's not looking good for him. But again, every action has to have an equal reaction. So yeah, this is bad. As soon as the RWL ladies find out what happened, now you're talking, gender feuds. It's gonna get crazy around the InterFed. So, keep your eyes open, and we'll keep the action coming to you. Because Deadshot is now the most wanted man in the InterFed, and no one's gonna rest until he's dead. Okay, now, the last rivalry, the newest one of our rivalries, is over in the AWL and the QPL. And it's our Iron Steel Week. The first rivalry that we had there was won by the future Cameron Fate. He pulled off an amazing win. But the next rivalry was, oh man, fuck me. I mean, everybody showed up. I mean, people just, couldn't keep themselves backstage. The future, got crowbarred, in the knees. The GTA came out to ambush, Austin Aries. And then Filthy Tom comes from backstage and he tries to help out. He rescues, Austin Aries. And, now we have the GTA there. And they're, everything's going to boil over there now in the AWL QPL rivalry. Over on the AWL side, the Riders of the Apocalypse have now shown up. And the APO Riders have, they come to clean stuff up. They can't stand all this interleague nonsense. They can't stand any of it. They hate invaders. They want all these invaders out of their league. And, the writers are there, and, they mean business. They're looking to throw out, the MML Devil Dogs who are there, invading their turf. They're going to throw out, the cook. So they're cleaning up. So we'll see what happens there in the AWL. But the second rivalry was actually won by MWC. I forget who it is. I believe it was Wayne the Train Bloom that won it. I got to double check that though, but yeah, I think it was the Train Bloom. So he's our new rivalry champ right there, and he'll bring that back over to the AWL and face the AWL's 4 fighters. Now, one thing I guess I haven't made too clear, because I've been getting a couple questions about it, is we use the total hold values for these rivalries. We're not transferring our fighters back and forth. Like I said, we're not here to break our banks. We want to put our resources into the IWA where it needs to be. But transferring back and forth is just, way too ridiculous. So what we do is we use the total holds from each fighter in their federation to determine these matches. We do have some ties sometimes, so we have to, make some splitting decisions. So, it makes it fun. We'll wrap it around an angle and start some shit. And I just want to go ahead and end these with a couple of shout-outs. I want to go ahead and shout out Christopher Stevens. They're in the Lone Wolf League. He manages Buford Blackwood. We're going to be starting some action. I want to go ahead and shout out Commissioner John Voss there again. I want to thank him for allowing us in and for allowing some of this interaction with his fighters. And again, I want to shout out all the virus members that have opened up and given us access to what they do behind the scenes. I want to thank all the IMT and Army members that likewise have helped me out, backstage, even to the point to understand, the holds and the game, a little deeper, a little further. And like I said, everybody plays it their way. And I want to continue to cover everyone's game. You've been listening to InterFed Radio, the voice of IWA Flip. See you next time.